Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Not London Narratives. If you're new here, leave a like, smash it. I'm saying it from the beginning now. Smash it and subscribe. But yeah, welcome, guys. And this is going to be a very brief one. I'm in my native attire, and I've had a very exhausting day. I did rock climbing, did archery, shooting in a shooting range, and very nice things. And it was a very fun day. But the thing about fun and when you do like physical activities is that you get tired, and I am tired. But I said I want to be more consistent and I want to be there for my channel. And here I am, even though I'm very exhausted. So I'm going to try to keep this as simple and as short as possible. So things are happening, guys. Things are happening. And where do we start from? None other than what is happening at Manchester United or what just happened at Manchester United, because it seems, I don't know if they've signed their striker already, but it seems to me like Manchester United is going to sign Benjamin Šeško, and that is incredibly interesting, to be honest. I think that it's very interesting, and I'm excited to see how he does at United. I'm excited to see how he fits into what they're trying to do. I think that Sesko is going to be an incredibly interesting player for United because there is a way United play, or United will play. So if you look at the stats of Matthias Cunha and Mbeumo last season, I think it's fair to say that from last season they are goal scorers. It's fair to say that Mbeumo and Matthias Cunha have goal scorers, and because of that, which is why I've always felt like if United weren't able to sign a striker, I know that a lot of people talk about how what's his name, Højlund isn't doing well and things like that. But I've always felt like if United weren't able to sign a striker, I don't think that Zexi will be the worst option in the world, because the problem with Zexi is that and that's why United fans call him a 9.5. He gives you other things, but if you're depending on him for goal scoring, he can't necessarily do that. But then the thing about Zexi is that if you're going to use Zexi in a formation where you have okay, let's use a line of view though. If you're going to use Zexi in a formation where you have a goal scorer around him, and now United won't just have one goal scorer, United would have two goal scorers. So if you're going to use Zexi in a formation where you have goal scorers around him, is incredibly interesting because now it's different. Like it's a different ball game entirely, and it brings out a whole different player. Like United fans won't look at Zexi as a horrible player anymore, because like this time around now, he's not like necessarily being given the burden to score the goals. So there are other people scoring the goals, and you can see what is given to the team outside of the goals. So I think that is very interesting, and I feel like these are signings that could really like unlock a player like Zexi, in my opinion, which is why I felt like United needed a striker. It would have been nice to get a striker, but if they're not able to get a striker, I didn't feel like it was the worst thing in the world. But the thing about Šeško is that I think Šeško is a very like interesting buy, and I think that because it's about the profile of the striker. Now, while Šeško isn't like the most clinical right now, I think that he has a lot of potential, and I think that due to hello everyone in live, hello, how are you guys doing? Please leave a like, please subscribe if you're new here. But yeah, and you can leave comments if you want me to talk about anything, let me know. But yeah, Šeško is the kind of player that I feel like he has the potential to be a very good goal scorer, but there are lots of players that don't end up fulfilling their potential, but he has the potential. You can tell that he's raw. But one thing that he also brings is link up play. So he's sort of like, you know how people say, oh, Højlund is a pure goal scorer, Zexi has the hold up play and whatever, and the link up play and whatever. And if you merge them two into one footballer, it becomes a very good footballer. And I feel like that is exactly what Šeško could potentially be, because he has the link up play, and like you would not think that somebody that's like, I think is like 6'4", 6'5", that big should have like such good ability on the ball, and he's one of a kind. Like that's what sets him apart from majority of strikers, and that is what made Arteta so obsessed with him, because Arteta doesn't just want a striker who like can just score goals. If you look at the first striker that Ateta actually signed, I think was Gabriel Jesus, and he felt like he could turn Gabriel Jesus into a goal scorer. Wow, Jesus already had the link up play and things like that. So I think that is incredibly interesting about the profile of striker. But yeah, I felt like this could work because these players, Mbuemo um at United was playing closer here. So he starts out wide and then he drifts in here. And having a guy like this, let me just make a reference that everybody remember. The best example of this is how Mane, Salah, and Firmino worked. So the striker is more like a 10, and then you have two inside forwards that their job is primarily to get goal. Now, doesn't mean that Zexi slash Firmino won't necessarily contribute to goals, but he's like people knowing that that is not a strong suit sort of lifts that burden away from him in a very interesting way. And I think that is something like that dynamic is something that I felt like could really work. But now, since now we know it's not going to be Zexi, which I think is even more interesting, I think that is going to be this guy. We all know it's going to be this guy. It's just a matter of when, not if. But it's going to be this guy. It sort of changes the dynamic now because while these players are going to be here, Sesko is also going to be here. Like he's going to link up there and then he's going to run into the box like Harry Kane used to do for Tottenham Hotspur. So I think it's very interesting. And this is a signing that really, like I said, and I felt like Zexi would as well, really unlocks these players. Because like I feel like if you guys think about United, really, United have really signed a lot of players that didn't necessarily fit what they were trying to do. So, for instance, now they signed Højlund when they had a player like Marcus Rashford as their winger. And Rashford is the kind of player that is an inside forward. He wants to cut in here and he wants to score goals. But Højlund is also a traditional striker. He wants to be in the box and score goals. But if you have a winger that's also trying to score goals, then who is going to feed this guy? And then you have Garnacho here, who is also in some way greedy and wants to get goals for himself as well. So Garnacho is also doing his own thing. Rashford is doing his own thing, and it's like, what about me, the striker, Højlund? I'm the one that's meant to get the goals. And if you check a lot of his stats last season, he didn't get chances. Like he didn't get chances, and he wasn't getting chances, and that's because of the profile of strikers that he have. But now with a Šeško who has a lot of room to grow, a lot of potential, and having players like Mbuemo and Cunha to take off the goal scoring burden from him, at least temporarily, is going to be incredibly interesting. And I think that this is a dynamic that could really work. But it's not just about that. Like United is a team that really excites me because it's not even just about this front three, it's about the rest of the team. So their goalkeeper right now is going to be Onana. But I don't think that, if I'm being honest, I don't think that Onana is going to be the long-term goalkeeper for Manchester United. And I find that incredibly interesting because they have a lot of problems on the surface level, but I feel like majority of their problem was in the forward line. Like if you remember to last season, they let go of players like Rashford, they let go of players like Anthony, and they didn't bring in replacements. And Garnacho kept on missing. Sesko couldn't hit a band, or the only player that kept on dragging them out of this mess was what's his name? Bruno Fernandes. And if you check last season, if you check the Premier League table last season, United, their problem wasn't necessarily conceding goals. Like when you look at the Premier League table, you see that United didn't necessarily have a conceding problem. If you check where are they? United in 15th. 15th, by the way. They conceded 54 goals. But now if you go up here, and everybody was talking about how Nottingham Forest had a very good defense last season. That was only 8 less than Nottingham Forest. And everybody was talking about how defensively solid Nottingham Forest were. Now this is a Manchester United that were not functioning in any way, shape, or form. And they only conceded 8 more goals than Nottingham Forest, who were superb defensively. And everybody was talking about how they could be possibly the best defensive team in the league. So, but then if you look at here, this is where the problem was. 44 goals scored. If you look at the people that they should be competing with, 86, 69, 72, 64, 68, 58, 58, 58, 58, 66, 66, 54. I think it's clear. Even Tottenham, 64. Like, I think it's clear where the problem is. So that's why I say, like, United's problem wasn't necessarily that they were conceding goals or whatever. The problem was that they couldn't score goals. And now, bringing these players, not just one, not just two, but three players that walk straight into their starting lineup is really incredible and interesting, because now it's also about the profile of players, because now they didn't just bring in players. Like, it's one thing to bring in players, it's one thing to bring in an Anthony, it's one thing to bring in a Højlund, but it's about bringing in the right profile of players that you need, for what you're trying to do. And I think that's incredibly interesting. But then, even aside from that, I think, in my opinion, I will start with Maguire over Delete. Sorry, Maguire over Delete, because I feel like in a back three, there are not many defenders better than Maguire in a back three, and especially as that central defender to hit out the balls and clear out any funny thing coming into the box. But this lineup is incredibly interesting. And now it's not just about bringing in the attackers. It's also about what they have left. So United are in a very interesting position, because now you have players like Sesko dropping deep, joining the midfield and linking up play. Whoever is marking Sesko has to come to move with him. Now you have Mbeumo coming into the box, but you also have this guy. So if you're trying to double mark Mbeumo now, for instance, if you're trying to say, oh, Mbeumo is a threat and you're trying to stop him, you also have this guy here. You also have Ahmad here, who can just sneak into the box. So it's incredibly interesting how, this United side, and that's the thing, United are going to have one game a week next season. United are going to play one game a week. They're going to have so much time on the training ground, and they will be able to do very interesting things. And I find that very interesting, because this United side, genuinely speaking, they terrify me. And I think that while they terrify me now, I think that this United side is capable of finishing in the top 5 as it is now, with the likes of a midfield, let's say a midfield double of Ugarte right now and Bruno. So I think that, genuinely speaking, then Dogo here, I think that this is a United side, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, genuinely, that can finish in the top 5, playing one game a week. I genuinely think that they can finish in the top 5. But what terrifies me the most about United is their links to Baliba. And I don't think people understand how alarming this is, because this isn't just about this is a player that, if you sign him, your midfield for the next 10 years is sorted. But it's not just about what Baliba does. It's about the doors that Baliba opens for United. If you guys think back to the Europa League final, in the Europa League final, it was incredibly interesting, because we had the likes of what's his name? The likes of Bruno playing in this position here. And I found that very interesting, because when I saw that lineup, I knew that Tottenham was probably going to win. I'm a Tottenham fan, by the way. But I knew when I saw that lineup that Tottenham were going to win. And I found that very interesting, because Bruno was playing here. And because Bruno was playing here, you had the likes of Ahmad and Mason Mount playing here. But the problem is, Bruno is a 10. Bruno is not an 8. And Bruno doesn't necessarily have the legs to play this role. Ugarte, yes, but Ugarte can't do it alone. You're basically playing like this when you play with Ugarte and Bruno. But bringing in a Baliba here really changes the dynamic of this team. And it allows the attacking players to be able to go and do whatever they want to do, which I find incredibly interesting, because now you have so much attacking talent. You have Mbeumo doing what he wants to do. You have Šeško doing what he wants to do. You have Cunha doing what he wants to do. You have Ahmad and you have Dogo joining it. So this is basically what is going to be out of possession. And the thing is, when you're able to commit this many players forward, you know that you are more likely to score than not. But even aside from that, is when you lose the ball, you have 2 absolute runners, people that have energy for days in the midfield to cover you. And if impossibly or improbably, you're able to pass this midfield though, you still have 1, 2, 3 at the back. So you are so defensively solid. It's not just about being attacking solid. So you have Mbeumo here cutting inside. You have Ahmad here staying out wide, and they are stretching the team, because Ahmad is also a danger even from out wide. You have Šeško that is so big. He's 6'4", 6'5". You're whipping in crosses and he's there. You have Cunha here. You have Dogo here. Do you get what I'm saying? The doors he opens. And if you're even playing a lesser side, maybe if you want to be crazy, even Martinez, come forward. Let's kill these people. And then you still have a back 2 here, solid, and 2 midfielders back here defending. So the doors that this signing would open is incredible. But then even going back, let's even go back. Let's go back and say, okay, no problem. Baliba comes. Now it brings in a conversation about this guy here. Because now Bruno, who is the captain of the team, the best player in the team, can be on the bench. So everybody now is fighting for their places. And I think that genuinely speaking is going to be him, as sad as it is, that is going to make way for Bruno because Bruno can be on the bench. So now you have Bruno, your best player, playing in his best position. Like the prospects of this United team next season, playing one game a week, I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about them enough because I know everybody has been talking about Liverpool, Liverpool, Liverpool. But the prospect of this team, like, and I said something about Liverpool. I said, I feel like a lot of people are talking about Liverpool, Liverpool, Liverpool. But a lot of people forget that players are human beings as well. They're not just robots. You can't just plug and play. Like, these players are going to be changing culture. They're going to be changing environment. And they will need time to settle. These players are going to need time to settle. It's without a doubt. You're going to need time to settle. And bringing in likes of these players, a Baliba, a Mbuemo, a Cunha, bringing these players in, but it's not just about bringing them in. It's about having one game a week and giving them time to settle. United don't have Europe. If you look at, let me show you something. Let me show you guys something. If you look at this season, and the 2 seasons that Newcastle finished in the Champions League position, those 2 seasons have one thing in common. And the one thing in common is so simple. It's so simple. The one thing in common that those 2 seasons have is that Newcastle were playing one game a week. Newcastle weren't playing, and that's why they were able to win the Carabao Cup, by the way. They weren't playing in Europe. And if you look at the season, last season, I think it was 22-23. Yeah, this season as well. The first season they finished in the Champions League, they weren't also playing in Europe. And that is something that United have. But it's not just about United not playing in Europe. It's about United not playing in Europe. United not playing in Europe already elevates them. If you look at Spurs under Ange, when we didn't play in Europe, we were able to finish 5th in the league. But it's not just about United not playing in Europe. It's United not playing in Europe and having this type of team. Like, that is genuinely what terrifies me. And the prospect. And let's say, okay, they're being linked to Donnarumma. We're seeing Chevalier coming in. Maybe they are not able to get Donnarumma. Let's just say Martinez. Let's just say Martinez. What is it? Yeah, this team genuinely terrifies me. And I feel like all the Premier League teams should genuinely be worried. And that is my honest take on United because I've been saying this and I've been banging on this drum because I am genuinely terrified of this United team. And I've been saying it. And when Amorim came after the last game of the season and he came out and he said, I told you guys that there was a storm coming. And I can tell you people now that the good days are coming. There was obviously a confidence about that statement and a sort of assurance. He was so confident that things are going to be better. And I feel like a lot of United fans may not have felt that way when they lost the Europa League final. But I genuinely think that that is the best thing to have happened to Manchester United. Because not only does it serve as a wake-up call, it serves as a sort of calmer schedule for the new manager to actually settle and establish the core principles and the core players of the side. And now, when you have a team like this, now is a conversation of, okay, how do we elevate this lineup? Now, do we change a Maguire, for instance, into an Antonio Silva from Benfica? Do we change? Okay, Euro is going to be in the side. I think Euro is right-footed, if I'm not mistaken. Euro dominant foot. Let's check. What's this? Yeah, right. He's right-footed. Okay, I wanted to pitch in a Scalvini, for instance. But okay, let's say you're not able to get a Scalvini. Let's say maybe an Nkapie or Inaciao from this guy's former team, Ruben Amorim's former team. And now it's about building on what you already have. Okay, Martinez, maybe Martinez is not good enough. Maybe crazily, United is in a good position and they're able to find a way to get Donnarumma. And it's about elevating, like taking players in the starting lineup to the bench because, like, it's about okay. Hello, Lucky. Nice to meet you, bro. I'm resting Zegzi, Amadialo, Mazraoui, Cunha for Arsenal visit. The first game of the season, right? I feel like that's going to be interesting. I feel like that's going to be very interesting. I feel like United is going to be sort of a slow burn. I feel like United might not start off as a house on fire, but I feel like over the course of the season, United are going to go into the season, and I think that like the more time they spend on the training ground and with players that can actually do what the manager is told. Like this guy, see this guy here. That was my dream six for Tottenham. He's an absolute engine. Like if you check, let me show you why. Like I always rave about this guy. Let me show you something. A lot of people are talking about how United don't have legs in the midfield. Let me show you something. When you lose the ball, you need an absolute dog to be able to win that ball back. And let me show you. He's not like, look at his defensive stats. These things here, this creation of Baliba is absolutely terrifying because there are not too many players. There are not too many players. Who is that? You know, this name sounds familiar, but I don't actually know who that is. Is that a kid? Yep. He's a kid. Yep. Where's he from? What team? Let me check. Let me check this thing. Let's check. Diego Leon. That's incredibly interesting. Let me know. Lucky, would you have, so you're telling me you'd rest Zexi, Diallo, Mazraoui, Cunha, Mount. So what would be your starting 11? Let me know what your starting 11 would be. Diego, you said Diego Leon. What team? Oh yeah. He's a Manchester. When did he sign for Manchester United? What? When? I didn't even know this. But that sounds kind of familiar. I don't know. But I don't know the player. But anyways, I feel like that's the interesting thing about this United side chat. Like you have an absolute one of the best ball winning midfielders in the Premier League in the midfield, and you also have Ugarte, who is also incredibly good at that. So like the levels that United is going to go in this next few seasons is genuinely terrifying, and at the same time, like it's terrifying for me as a sports fan because I feel like we're being left behind every year and more and more every year. But as a football fan, it's incredibly interesting because now you're having like insane level like super teams in the Premier League. We're having super teams, basically super teams in the Premier League, and we're having City, who are basically a super team. They've won how many? Baliba is a top player, but to be honest, I don't rate United squad full of overpaid, overhyped players. I don't think any of them gets into the wow. This is incredibly interesting. So you don't think that this team causes damage next season? Let me know, BM. What do you think? You don't think that this team causes damage next season? You don't think that this team can do some terrifying things to people next season? You don't think that? No, sorry. This is no, sorry. Let me change that. So Maguire and Lissandro. Playing one game a week. You don't think that this team can, I don't know, challenge for the top 4, top 5? I genuinely think it can. And I'm being honest. I just want to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to come here and try to downplay United. I'm genuinely terrified of them. I think out of all the teams, like it's established that Chelsea terrify me, Liverpool terrify me, but City terrify me. Like the established Arsenal at this point in time terrify me. But it's not just about the team terrify me. It's about like the next set of teams that you think playing one game a week they will finish 5th or 6th. I think finishing 5th or 6th is a very good season for United. But I don't think they will finish 5th or 6th with this lineup. Honestly, and that's just me being honest. You can't tell me that this lineup with this midfield and this right here and having these two to cover, basically back 5, defending with a 5 and attacking with a 5 will finish 5th or 6th next season. Which teams? Okay. Let's see. You're saying 5th or 6th. Let's check the teams in the Premier League. Let's start with that. Let's check the teams in the Premier League. So you have Bournemouth. There's no way in this world or the next season that Bournemouth is finishing over United. I think we can all agree on that. Arsenal, 1. So that's 1. That's one team. We have Aston Villa. I think that Aston Villa are going to have a good season. I think that they're going to have a good season, but I think United will have a better season because United is playing one game a week. Like I said, United is playing one game a week. Villa are out of the Champions League, but they're still in the Europa League, which is still a reasonable competition. And I think that they will be one of the favorites for that competition. And I think that they would. Well, I feel like this is an incredibly interesting take. I think that to be fair to United, Liverpool basically have what I would call a super team. But I like that's the thing. Yeah, let me explain something to you. BM, let me explain something to you, or let me give you my opinion, not necessarily explaining something to you because you know football. You know football. But anyways, let me give you my opinion on something. I don't think that you necessarily have to have the best team to be able to be able to win a game, or to be able to win the league, or to be able to like do some incredible things. You say Manchester United, Aston Villa, Tottenham, and Newcastle will be fighting for fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth places. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. I do. I do. I do. I don't think that there are too many people that would disagree with that. But sorry, wait. God, I'm going on a tangent. Brentford are not going to finish above them. Brighton are not. Burnley are not. Chelsea, yes, maybe. Maybe. I don't think it's a guarantee. Like, I feel like a lot of people have been talking about it like a guarantee, but I don't think it's a guarantee. I genuinely don't think it's a guarantee. But anyways, yeah, Chelsea. Crystal Palace, nope. Everton, nope. Fulham, nope. Leeds, nope. Liverpool, yes. Man City, yes. Newcastle, yes. Sorry, Manchester United. That's with Manchester United. Newcastle, we don't know. They could possibly lose Isak. So they're going to have a yeah, you're right about that. No Europe will help United massively, massively. I think that Newcastle. I listened to True Jody. I think it's Jody. Yeah, True Jody Abby. Is it True Jody? Yeah, I think it's True Jody. Yeah, and he spoke about how there were lots of games last season that Newcastle didn't play well, but because they had Isak, he was able to pull them out of games, like pull them through games, basically. Like, and as a Tottenham fan, believe me, I know that very well because I had Harry Kane for years. There were lots of games that we didn't play well, and Harry Kane was just so good. And losing Isak, possibly losing Isak, could really like set Newcastle United back. And a lot of the strikers that they've been going for are not necessarily strikers that excite me. Omorogen is a good player, but from the stats we've checked and we've gone through, he's purely a goal scorer. On the ball, he gives you nothing. So you're telling me that they're possibly going to be losing the ball more and things like that. Like, you get what I'm saying? And a lot of the players that they've even been going for, they've not been able to get. And mind you, they are also in the Champions League. We remember what happened to Newcastle in the Champions League last time they were in the Champions League. And it's not just about what happened to Newcastle last time they were in the Champions League. It's that we know what happened to Newcastle last time, and now, even though they're in the Champions League and they're in a better position, they are still unable to sign players. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not just about Kimi. It's about unable to sign players. So right now, they are not very different from the position that they were in the last time they were in the Champions League. Do you get what I'm saying? The only difference is you sold Amiron and you got Elanga. That's all. They've not gotten a centre back, which they need. They've not gotten. They will need a 9 soon. They've not gotten that, and things like that. Like, I feel like that will really set Newcastle back. I don't think United have the correct players for Amorim's system. His system is really successful for Premier League clubs, and he doesn't have a plan B. Seems very stubborn. Listen, yeah, a back three is something that I think is incredibly interesting, and I find it very interesting when people say a back three really succeeds in the Premier League, because I thought that Jose did a fairly decent job considering he had the likes of Matt Doherty, Joe Rodon, Sanchez, Ben Davies, Eric Dyer. We finished 7th. Conte finished in the top 4 with us, and by the time he left, I think when like we're winning that Southampton game 3-1, we're 3rd on the table. Then we dropped 2 points and we became 4th on the table, and that's when he had his rant and whatever. That was a back three. I think Nuno has done some reasonable things with the back three of both Wolves and Forest. So I don't necessarily argue with, or I don't necessarily agree with, sorry, the whole back three is really, or his system, which is a back three system, is really successful in the Premier League. That's what I think. That's what I think. But like I said, he didn't have the players to play. Like, you can't expect Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte, I said Ugarte and Casemiro to be running a midfield too. Like, is like players like Højlund now. Højlund looks so amazing at Tottenham when we played 3 at the back and a double pivot. I think Man United's issue was goal scoring, which they sorted out. They'll finish in top 4. Their final third looks mad dangerous. Thank you, Shanta. Thank you so much. It's glad to see somebody agrees with me. But I respect BM's opinion as well. I respect BM's opinion and I respect everybody's opinion. I think we all have different views. And at the end of the season, if I'm wrong, I will come here and tell you people that I have egg on my face. I do have egg on my face. But if I'm not, I'll definitely remind you. I will. If I remember. By God's grace, I do. But yeah, so I think that is incredibly interesting. Let's go to another club. And this is a club that I feel like some of my takes on this club might be controversial. And I don't know if many people will agree with me. I don't know. But I want to hear what you guys think. Am I the only one that thinks that Arsenal's window is a very risky window? Like the transfer window that Arsenal Football Club have had is a very risk window. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think because I genuinely feel that way. I genuinely feel like a lot of the players they've gotten are good players, and while they might come good, I don't necessarily think that it is a guarantee. Like I don't think that there's any guarantee of anything with Arsenal. Like like you know how Liverpool you sign a vet, you sign an Isak, and we're like, oh, that is for sure. They don't have good enough centre backs. He plays wing backs. He plays wing backs, and neither Ahmad or Dogu are wing backs. Dogu is a wing back. That's exactly what he is. He's a wing back. That's what Dogu is. He's a left midfielder slash left wing back. Ahmad, I think that Ahmad is going to play well at wing back. He's one of those, like, because of like, and that's what I'm saying. Baliba is going to be very key because if they get the Baliba, I feel like having Baliba and Ugarte and playing a back three, so having a back five, basically, like two double pivots or two midfield, two CMs, ball winning CMs, and a back three sort of makes you defensively solid enough so your wing backs can fly forward. And Ahmad might not be the best defensively, but he wouldn't necessarily need to do too much defending because he will be in the final third where he plays his best football, which is why I think that it can work. That's what I'm saying. If they get Baliba, it's over for all of us. In my opinion, it's over. It's over. We might as well just start packing our things. Like the likes of Tottenham, we might as well start packing our things because we need to find a new league to go to, genuinely speaking. And if they get a new goalkeeper, we're finished. We're finished. But this Arsenal team, let's move to Arsenal. This Arsenal team is something that really interests me because, Arsenal's keeper is Ryan. Arsenal's team is something that really interests me because I feel like a lot of people are sort of overhyping their window, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I feel like maybe to a certain degree, last season has sort of made me more reluctant about Arsenal, and maybe I'm not giving them as much praise as they deserve. Maybe not. Maybe. Timber is their right back. Very solid, extremely solid, and Lewis Skelly. Then I think their CDM will be Zubi. I think that is quite clear. It's going to be Zubi as the 6, and then you're going to have, I think, Rice on the right and Odegaard on the left. What is this? Who is this? Rice, baby. I'm a sports fan, but I love Rice. Such a good player. And I know I shouldn't, but it's too good to deny his greatness. Honestly. Odegaard. I love Rice. It's so good. Like, it's so good. But anyways, the attackers, they have Saka. I genuinely think that this might be this guy. I think so. And they have this guy. What's his name? How do they spell it? Victor. Okay. Gyo. Oh, is Gyo not Gia? Okay, it's literally Gyo. I think that this is incredibly interesting. I think it gives them Dogu is a left full back. I think he's a left back or a left wing back. But I guess we'll agree to disagree on that one. I think he's a left wing back. I don't think he's necessarily the best defensively. I think he does his best defensive, his best plays, attacking wise, like Udogi, like Pedro Porro, like Udogi and Pedro Porro, yeah. And Madoati, I think that they are not fullbacks. I don't think he's a fullback. But I guess we'll agree to disagree. While I think this team is very good, yeah. Well, you know what's funny? So when I was looking at their ins and outs, no, their ins, sorry, and seeing the likes of Nogard, the likes of what's the name of that keeper? Kepa, the likes of Madueke, I was a bit underwhelmed. But listen, looking at this lineup now, I'm genuinely terrified. Oh my god, my mind might be changing right now. I am I think I'm about to flip flop. After now that this lineup is in front of me, I'm about to flip flop because wow, this is really scary. Like this is really scary. If us not get easy, I say they have the most creative front line. Saka and Eze hold up the ball, create Gyökeres scoring machine, Rice, Odegaard. Honestly, looking at it right now, would you guys think is going to win the league? Arsenal problem isn't exactly their players. I just don't think they have the manager. Interesting take. This is a very interesting take because I feel like it is their players. If you think back to a lot of moments where, like, and I feel like honestly, if I was the manager, I would want a left winger, and I would do this instead. Because this guy right here, this guy, this is their captain, is my problem with this Arsenal team. Is my problem with this Arsenal team because I genuinely do not think, and I know this might seem crazy, but I genuinely do not think that Odegaard is a number 10. I think that Odegaard is one of those players that they've been misprofiled, and I genuinely think he's an 8. I don't think he's a 10. I think he's like, and I know I'm not saying that they're like of the same ability. I think he's like a Bergvall, where they can play 10, but if you tell him to create every week in, week out, he just can't do it. And let me show you why I say this. Let me show you. And let me show data to back up what I'm saying. So it's not just like I'm making crazy statements here. Martin Odegaard, the Arsenal captain. Let me show data to back up what I'm saying here. Okay. So Arsenal, where he played 45 matches last season and he had this 17 goal contributions. His last season, he had 11 goals, 11 assists. Mind you, this is a side that I think they pushed. If Liverpool gets Isak is over, imagine that. But I feel like a lot of people are. I feel like this title race might not actually be over. I feel like a lot of people are writing off a lot of people, and honestly, I feel like it could, like it would be very different from how a lot of people think it would go. I feel like this season is one of those seasons that is really going to excite people because I feel like it's going to be incredibly unpredictable. Like Arsenal did very well last season, and the problem with Arsenal that we've been talking about is that they didn't have a 9. If Gyökeres scores goals, it takes Arsenal to a whole new level. Like I'm talking about Gyökeres on his own, like without an Eze. Now, if they get Eze and Eze banks, it takes Arsenal to another level again. City have Rodri back. They have Cherky, who is absolutely one of the best players I've ever seen in my life. Genuinely on the ball, yes, one of the best players I've seen in my life. But like off the ball, not so much. So I think that a lot of people like Chelsea now could go to a whole new level with João Pedro, could go to a whole new level. They have the likes of Gittins, they have the likes of possibly Garnacho. Like the Premier League is getting more interesting, basically. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, and now Chelsea have this newfound confidence. They've won 2 trophies. They finished in Maresca won a trophy in his first season. Sorry, 2 trophies in his first season, finished in top 4, and they're doing very well. And now they're thinking, we want to win, we want to go to a whole new level. I understand what people are. What are you talking about exactly? I understand what people are. What do you mean? Like that, like thinking that things are going to be easy. Is that what you mean? Arsenal's manager isn't a problem. Arteta guided them second position in the PL and a decent CL run as well. Their ST was a problem. Now Guterres solves that issue as Havertz was the bottleneck. And I agree with Shanta on this because I genuinely think that a 9 takes them to a whole new level. I remember I don't know if you remember BM. I don't know if you watched that semi-final against Liverpool. That first leg. Against Liverpool, against Newcastle. They absolutely destroyed Newcastle. Like when I say Arteta got it right, Arteta got it beyond right. Arteta got it incredibly right. The problem, and I know everybody probably remembers the game. And let me remind you, if you don't remember, you know the game. It was the game when Havertz tried to head the ball and he did this with his shoulder. That was the game. That game, they destroyed. Let me check for it. Well, we'll be back to Odegaard's matter. Newcastle, Arsenal versus Newcastle. I think Newcastle won. Yeah. I think it was the first leg. Yeah. These are the stats. 23 shots. Oh, okay. You guys are not seeing my screen. Sorry. 23 shots, 3 on target. That's 23 shots, 3 on target is the exact problem I'm talking about. Newcastle had 7 shots, 4 on target. The difference is they had Isak and they had Gordon. That is the difference. They had Isak. That's the thing. So is Arsenal, my man. Arsenal is also not the same anymore. They're beasts. Honestly, they terrify me. The league wasn't exactly anywhere close last year, though. You know, I missed this BM. See, let me tell you something here. Last season was an absolute fluke of a season. City basically had the likes of Oscar Bob out for the season. They had the likes of Rodri out for the season. These are I think City's injuries made me know that no team is untouchable because City had Rodri out. They had Oscar Bob out. Nothing again. And I know some people might say, oh, Oscar Bob. Okay, let's even say Oscar Bob isn't as important. I think Oscar Bob is levels above Savio, by the way. I think he's levels above Savio. But anyway, let's even say Oscar Bob wasn't there. Oscar Bob doesn't matter. Rodri alone, nothing. Last year, Tottenham did what they did under Ange, finishing 1 point above or 1 position above relegation. Absolute madness. Nottingham Forest were pushing for the league at a point in time. They were in the title conversation with Liverpool. Absolute madness. A lot of things that weren't meant to happen last season were happening. United were all the way down here. Let me tell you, BM, I can assure you that thing isn't going to happen again. Is there anything to suggest that Gyökeres is better than Jesus? He has only ever scored goals in the Champions League, Championship, and Portugal. You see the statement you said here? Let me just respond to it with this. Bruno Fernandes, I'm coming. I will just respond to it with this. I don't need to say too much. Bruno Fernandes in Portugal, share the stat instead. 15 goals, 13 assists. 23 goals, 14 assists. 25 goals. This was also with United. He joined in January. 25 goals, 19 assists. 28 goals, 18 assists. 10 goals, 13 assists. 14 goals, 13 assists. 19 goals. You can't say that because a player scored in the Portuguese league, they can't translate that to the Premier League. That is unfair. And until he proves that's right, we don't know. Which is why I'm saying that a lot of their signings are, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
When the journey gets tiring, all we need is something to push our limits. Push your limits.
It's incredibly interesting. But anyways, yeah. Wow, sorry, that took me by surprise. But yeah, I feel like that's a very unfair take. BM, if I'm being honest, if I want to be, I'm trying to be objective here. I'm like the mediator here, and I have to be as objective as possible. But I feel like that's unfair. And until he proves that, like a lot of people are talking about his debut now against Spurs, he barely had any time. But he played for Darwin Núñez, and we see how that ended. But that's the thing, Núñez. You know what? Let's check. When did Núñez share the stab? When did Núñez join Liverpool? 2022, which means I think he had his 22 season. View complete scout report. So 22-23 Premier League season. No, that was Premier League. No, 21-22. That was the season that they signed him off the back of. Oh, no, sorry, I'm sharing the wrong screen. That was the season that they signed him off the back of. Let's check. This season, he was very clinical. Let me check. He was very clinical. I agree with you. I'll consider on that one. Yeah, I'll consider on that one. But I think that Nunez is a good player. I think Darwin is a very good player. I just think that I think that he doesn't have a football brain. Like he's one of those players that they have so much ability, but if they had here like a football brain, like if they had a football brain, that would take them to so many levels. Like we're talking possibly one of the best strikers in the world. I genuinely think that, and I think that's the problem with Darwin. Like even like if you check the angles that Darwin shoots from are very difficult angles. Like if you go back to the Newcastle game, for instance, where he scored, like Liverpool were with 10 men and they scored 2 goals or whatever. The angles that Darwin shoots from are not necessarily favorable angles, and he likes to drift and take the ball, like shoots from very difficult angles. And I'm surprised that the likes of Klopp didn't correct him on that. Well, but anyways, I'll consider on that. I'll consider on that. All I can say is I'm not going to die on a hill for Gyökeres. I'm not. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. But all I'm going to say is that I feel like we should give him time. If he proves you right, good. But don't say because he came from Portugal, then it wouldn't work out. Like Pedro Porro came from Portugal. Sporting, to be exact. Joao Paulinho came from Portugal. Like, so I don't think Nuno Mendes signed to PSG from Portugal, from Sporting. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel like Enzo Fernandez, who people are now saying is one of the best players in Chelsea have one of the best midfield double pivots in the Premier League and whatever, or in the world. Some people are saying that came from Benfica, Portugal. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Okay, I'm coming. I just saw your comment, Carlos Vinicius, and that's why I laughed. But I'll respond to that. Well, with that logic, Pedro Porro, Bruno, Ugarte, Quenda, Gomez, all never played in big teams. That's the thing. Like, until a player proves you wrong, like you never really know. Or proves you right, brother. You never really know. With Nunes, was also enough game time issues and fitness that hinders confidence. I feel like it doesn't really matter the amount of game time that you give Nunes. This is my own opinion. He just didn't have a football brain. Like I genuinely just didn't like physically. He was an absolute beast. He was fast. He was strong. He was tall. He was trouble. Like he was trouble. He was chaos. But when it comes to composure, like he's the kind of player that does everything 1,000 miles per hour, like 100 miles per hour. Like he's always out, and he just wants to rush everything. And if he could just rush everything, but then when you're in front of goal, you relax and just destroy this goalkeeper. Like you're looking at this goalkeeper and you're telling him you are meat. Like, let me put my face. You are meat, and I'm going to eat you today. Simple as that. I'm here to destroy you. And you look at the goalkeeper like that and you destroy him. Nunes would have gone to so many levels. Honestly, Jackson and Nunes both get a lot of hits for what they miss, but we don't see how well they perform on their best days. Their quality, they just make mistakes. I think that they're very good players. Honestly, I think that they're both very good players, but the problem is they can't finish. And the thing is, if they could finish, then they will be at Real Madrid and Barcelona. So yeah, like you get, they would probably be at Real Madrid and Barcelona. Carlos Vinicius came to Spurs, remember, with a huge reputation from Portugal. Carlos Vinicius didn't actually do bad at Spurs, to be fair to him. And I remember his hat trick against Marine when he did this. Guy's shameless. He's absolutely shameless. But let's see. Let's see. Let's see how he did at Spurs. Let's see how he did at Spurs. I don't think he did bad. It was under Jose, yeah? Yeah. Yeah. He had 24 games. Yeah, I remember he wasn't bad for us. I remember he wasn't good, but he wasn't bad. Like he had 24 games, he had 10 goals and 3 assists. And from here, you can tell that he played well. From the match rating, average match rating. I don't think he was bad. It just wasn't good. Like he wasn't like, yeah, we have to keep this guy. No, I don't think it was bad. To be fair to him. But yeah, I feel like this team, genuinely speaking, hand on my heart, could genuinely like win the Premier League. But the caveat is fitness. And now let's move to Liverpool because BM has been hinting at it. Before now, I was thinking to myself that Liverpool don't have depth. But now that I see things clearer, I think it's incredibly interesting. Yeah. Because I'm starting to have a different opinion on things. And it still depends on what Liverpool do in the window. I haven't like stamped or solidified my opinions on anything, not really. But I think that there is a lot of room for improvement, especially in this position here at centre back. While Konate and Van Dijk are absolutely phenomenal, you can't tell me that your backup is Gravenberg, Bajetic, Endo, and Joe Gomez. I'm not having that. Honestly, I am not having that. And which is why I think it's very important, like for them to sign, for Liverpool to sign what's his name? For Liverpool to sign Guehi. Like, and that's the thing. Like, so I was feeling like Liverpool didn't have depth. So let's see. Here, let's start from center goalkeeper. Goalkeeper, they have Alisson Stroke, Mamadashvili, Konate, right centre back. Let's say I genuinely think Liverpool are going to sign another centre back. Like it's stabbed on. Liverpool are going to sign another centre back. Like it's 100% sure it's going to happen. Konate / Guehi, Virgil / who? Joe Gomez. Here they have Robertson, they have Simikas, they have Kekesh. They have depth here. They have depth here. Here they have Conor Bradley, and I will go with Bradley because it's more defensively sound. So if you want to, sorry, not this Bradley Bacola, not this one, the other Bradley, Conor Bradley. But yeah, I think that they have a lot of depth in their side, which I didn't necessarily see that way before. Like Frimpong. So okay, Frimpong. Let me know insults. Let me know insult Frimpong. Shanta is about to have my head. Shanta is about to have my head. You can see the exclamation mark there. But anyways, they have Frimpong / Bradley here. Now this is where it gets interesting. Here they have Gravenberg / Endo at 6, right? They have Zoboslai / who? Zoboslai / who? Who do we have? Which other Liverpool midfielder do they have? This is where it gets interesting for me because Elliot is leaving, and you also have this guy in the starting lineup, McAllister. So you have McAllister / Curtis Jones. I know that. Or let's say Zoboslai / who? Florian Wirtz, maybe. Yeah. BM, I agree with you. Zoboslai / Florian Wirtz. Then McAllister / Curtis Jones. Here on left wing, I think you have Gakpo / the Rio kid. In 9, you have possibly Isak / Ekitike, which is incredible depth, by the way. But I don't necessarily know Liverpool squad. But who is the Salah replacement? Like, if Salah has an injury today, do you guys have anyone? Or is it Ben Doak? Is it Ben Doak that is the second right winger? Because, like, I feel like things start getting funny when you go to this wing position where you're having Doak, you're having Rio, while he's talented. Curtis Jones can still do a job, Vert can still do a job, but this attack is starting to look funny when you like go deep into it. Shanta, I think Elliot is going to leave. Elliot is going to leave. He's not going to stay. What he saw last season, he should go. Genuinely speaking, I think he's going to go, and I don't think he's going to stay. But this team, looking at this team, and possibly this being replaced with this, what is it? How can I search Isak? And Isak is not the first name to come up. And this is going to be replaced with this brother. This lineup is another lineup that terrifies me next season. Like, and the thing that is terrifying about this lineup is that Frimpong, but so was like Ekitike can go right wing. Frimpong. Yeah, Frimpong. Yeah, Frimpong can play as a winger. Oh my god, how did I forget that? Vet's preferred position is on the left. Like, he prefers playing on the left. To be fair, but he can play right wing if needed. Zobo's like, yeah, I think Zobo's like can also play it. Ekitike also prefers left and center forward, but he can play it if needed. They are winning the league. Oh, good lord. I don't know how we play against this. Like, that's the thing. Like, looking at these lineups, like when you put like these lineups, it just makes you start wondering what space is there for the rest of us. Because genuinely, I am terrified at the prospects of what these teams could do to us next season. Like, the gap is just widening. If you're new here, please leave a like, please subscribe, please. It really helps the channel, and I'm trying to grow my channel, so help me grow my channel, please, and thank you. But yeah, now let's do a different team. And the team I want to do now is Chelsea. Because honestly, I don't even know if I know their lineup, but I feel like I would figure out their lineup now. Before I even start saying anything, this guy, what's the name of that their goalkeeper again? That is always making errors. What's the name of that goalkeeper that is always making errors? Sanchez. Zoboslai is as good. I think Zoboslai as good as he's misses out. I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean. Oh, I think Zoboslai is as good as he's liked. I don't understand. I don't understand actually. BM, please, can you like retype that like properly? I don't really understand. We need to start comparing ourselves with smaller clubs now. We're no longer a big six. We just have to come to terms with that, man. Bro, honestly, yeah, we're levels behind. Like, guy, we also do Newcastle, so we actually see what we're up against. But let me show you guys. Like the levels we're going to. See this guy here. Not this guy. Sorry, not this one. Sanchez, Chelsea Sanchez. See this guy here. I genuinely think that Chelsea could actually have a shout of challenging for the league if this guy was to leave. Genuinely speaking, I think so. But like being in the conversation at least for a couple months, I think so. If they replace him with this guy, we're talking a whole different conversation entirely. Now, Colwill is basically out for the season, so we have this brother here. Then we have Princess at left back. Princess Cucurella. Their right centre back. Who is Chelsea's right centre back? Because I know they have Chalobah, they have Fofana, who is never fit. I don't know which other centre back they have. But I think I will go with Chalobah. Or do any of you know? Please, can somebody put this in the chat? I'm not sure I know their right centre back. Does anybody know? I think that they have arguably the best right back in the Premier League when fit. Like, Chelsea actually have a team. They have arguably, and many will struggle to argue. Sorry, is it Caicedo? Yeah. One of the best sixes. Nobody knows their right centre back. Okay, no problem. Let me go with Chalobah. Let's go with Chalobah. Then they have Enzo. The guy, the caliber of teams in the Premier League next season. I am genuinely terrified. I am genuinely worried. And this is going to be none other but Cole Palmer. Like, this lineup, this is going to be Yao Pedro. This is going to be, who is it? Chalobah, yeah, Shanta. I think it's Chalobah as well. I think this is going to be Xavi Simons. Where is he? Xavi Simons. Maybe Gittins, but I think it's going to be Xavi. I don't think he comes to Chelsea to warm the bench. I don't think so. They even have Neto. Oh my God. They even have Pedro Neto. How could I forget? How could I forget? Oh my God. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. Okay, let's even say this is Git. I don't think Gittins will start. But maybe the way Mariska, because I saw a video on how Mariska wants to use him and whatever. So let's say Gittins. I feel like right now, when you look at this team, it doesn't necessarily terrify you. But I think that after they have their depth, honestly, their depth is incredible. Like, honestly speaking, they're also signing Ganacho. Exactly. They have crazy, bro. And that's the thing. Like, if this season is one of those seasons where everybody has injuries, I'm genuinely convinced that if everybody has injuries this year, Chelsea could really have like properly a shout to win the league. Because if you talk, okay, you want to remove Yao Pedro, no problem. I have this guy. And currently they still have Jackson, by the way. They still have Jackson. So you have this guy. You want to remove Neto? Which other right winger did there? Which other? Let's say Simons. No. Nkunku is leaving. Which other right winger did that? Because Madueke is leaving. Estevao. Oh my God. Estevao is even going to be their right winger. It's not even Estevao. It's not even going to be Neto. Oh, good Lord. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh my God. I forgot about Est. Is it not is it Estevao, Abi? Let me check. It's not Estevao. Estevao, Chelsea. Yeah. Okay, let's search for William. Maybe William will bring it out. God, stop throwing ads in my face. Jesus Christ. William. Let's see. Man, looking at other squads, I'm sorry. I'm coming. I'm more depressed now. I'm so tired of sports. Maybe I can't do this anymore, damn it. But honestly, you know the thing, yeah. I think I've developed a coping mechanism for myself where when sports isn't bringing me joy, I'm not able to find the stuff out here. I don't know why. But let's just put this guy as Esteval. But they're going to have Esteval. If you want to bring out Gittins, they have Ganacho. They have Ganacho. What is he? Alejandro Ganacho. If you want to bring out Palmer, no problem. We have who? Xavi Simons. God, their depth. Like, genuinely, if injuries strike everybody, Chelsea will win the league. And it's going to be a walk in the park. I think they have that Quenda guy. So let's say Lavia and Quenda. If you even want to bring out this guy, like the depth, bro, they have depth for days. Right back, they have Gusto. Center back, they have who is that guy? Oh no, Cole is the one from their academy. They have Fofana, who is always injured. Very good center back, but is always injured. Like they have so much depth, so much. And this is another team that could possibly have a shout for the league. Now let's do the one that everybody's sleeping on. And I'm really excited to see how this works. I think City play. Let me check. Because what formation do City play? Does anybody know? Like what they think City will play? Let's check. Let me check. Man City versus Wood versus Man City versus. Let's check. Oh, I think they played somebody in the Club World Cup. I can't remember the team. They played somebody and they lost. Yeah, Al Hilal. Let's see their lineup against Al Hilal. They had 4-3-2-1. 4-3-2-1, right? Let's check other games. A 4-2-3-1 in this game against Juve. Was it the same? 3-4-2-1. What? This is the no. Oh, sorry, that's Juve. Sorry, 4-3-2-1. Okay, I think it's going to be a 4-3-2-1. It's going to be a 4-3-2-1. Which okay, I wasn't even sharing my screen. Can you imagine? But anyways, okay, I'm coming back here. But anyways, it's going to be a 4-3-2-1. Let's see. So You have Ederson. You have Ederson. You have left centre back. Who is the left centre back? They actually don't have a left centre back, but I think it's going to be this guy. I think that's the reason why they brought that's the reason why they brought Nuri. So Vardiol is going to be, and none other but one of the best centre backs in the world, in my opinion. Then right back, maybe Nunez right now, possibly Livramento. Maybe. We don't know. Then left back, they have Ainuri, who I rate very highly, buddy. I rate him very highly. I rate him very highly, honestly. Then in the 3, they have Rodri sitting. They have Rodri sitting. They have Tijani. They have Tijani, and they have none other than, what's his name? Bernardo. Bernardo Silva. They still have Bernardo Silva. So they have Bernardo here. Then they have Erling Braut Haaland. They have Turkey. And I think is also going to be, so they're going to play a midfield 3 like this, and then they have Turkey in the 10 and possibly this guy. I don't think he benches. I think this is finally the year he's in the starting 11. And honestly, see this team, I feel like a lot of people are not talking about City, especially because of this guy. Like, even me, myself, I don't know why, but like I was just watching a show with Goldbridge on it, and he was talking about how the thing that City, like the reason why a lot of people are not talking about City is because I feel like City have lost their that feeling of invisibility. Like there were times when like you step onto the pitch against City and you know you're going to lose, except you were Tottenham at that point in time. But you know you're going to lose every week. And now it seems like teams are more like confident going into games that, yes, City, and we can have a result against Manchester City. And that is his problem with this whole City team. But I feel like this year they will get that back, that fear factor back. And this team, especially with the introduction of this guy, and this right here, see this side right here, he's going to eat it alive, because Foden is going to be playing more centrally, and Aït-Nouri is going to be bombing forward like Vardiol was for City. And now when you do this, you have this guy too. Let me show you his stats, by the way. He doesn't defend. Oh, how they use him at? He didn't use to defend. Purely attacking. He didn't use to defend. Let me show you guys his defensive stats. Look, as a midfielder. So he's also going to contribute to the attack. It's how they used him, to be fair. It's not like he can't defend. He can't. But he's also going to be used in the attack. And you're telling me maybe this guy too, I think he would come forward. He usually is the one doing the dirty work and whatever. Bernardo is very dirty player. But anyways, yeah, he's going to be doing the dirty work. And now if they break on them, you have this guy controlling everything and there for security. If anything goes, you get. Like City is another team that, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. Can you imagine? This thing is very switching from screen to screen, because I don't want to be or tab to tab. I don't want to be what they call it. I don't want to be changing what I'm looking at. So that's why I just switch from tab to tab. I have different tabs open, and then I just go from tab to tab. But anyways, yeah, like I feel like it's incredibly interesting. The dynamics of how this could possibly work. I think that City could like really cause damage. But I feel like here they could strengthen here. I feel like they could strengthen here. And then added with Pep, I think they have a good shot at the title as well. A very good shot at the title. Which other team is there that could possibly challenge for the title? I think that's it, honestly. The rest of us are just extras. Like I'm talking the rest of us were extras because West Ham. I'm excited to see how they do because a lot of their signings have sort of been smart signings, and I don't necessarily know what to make of them. I don't think that KWP is a bad player. In contrast to a lot of Tottenham fans feel like he's horrible. If anything, I was very annoyed when we sold him to Southampton, to be honest. And I felt like he could serve something to the squad. So they've had some very smart signings that I don't know anything about, but I'm excited to see how they do. Aston Villa haven't done much in the window. They've only signed a number 9. I don't know too much about him. Newcastle United, just Elanga for now. Like there's a major signing in their side, so we don't necessarily know. Spurs, and let's even do a Newcastle lineup. Even as like, and that's the thing about Newcastle. Like I feel like the problem with Newcastle is not that they don't have a good team. I feel like the problem with Newcastle is that they're in the Champions League. Because I'm telling you guys right now, yeah, that Newcastle's 11 isn't bad. And let me show you what I mean when I say Newcastle's 11 isn't bad. So let's say right now it's poor. Yeah, right now it's poor. Maybe to me, I'm going to do my potential signing for Newcastle. And I'm going to do Jorgens. By the way, the guy that I was talking about a few days ago, that Gutierrez or something, he has gone to Napoli. And he's absolutely going to love life there because he's going to play as a wing back under Conte. So he's going to love life there. Their left centre back is Botman. Sven Botman. Their right centre back, my preferred option would be Guehi. But let's say Guehi is going to Liverpool, then they're being linked to Scalvini, who I think is a very good young defender from Atalanta. Very good. Right back, they have Livramento. Left back, they have Luis Hall. Number 6, they have none other than the Bruno G. I hate him. Because he always plays well against. I hate him. Like a lot of this new. I don't like Newcastle. Sorry. Bruno G is not their 6. It's this guy. Yeah. Then I absolutely hate, I hate Bruno G so much. Honestly. I hate this Newcastle midfielder so much. Possibly Omorodion. Sam. Where's Omorodion? Let me check. Samu Omorodion. I can't even pronounce this. And I think he's meant to be Nigerian. I can't even pronounce that. Like Nigeria, there's so many tribes. I can't even find him. Omorodion. Why can't I find him? You know what? I'll just put somebody in his place. Wow, that's crazy. I can't find him. Let's put. Oh, Simeon. Wow. I don't know why it wasn't coming out. Then you have Elanga. You have Elanga. Yeah. And you have their new star man in this guy. Like looking at this lineup, genuinely, it's not bad. But the problem is the depth. When you don't have Elanga, what do you have? When you don't have Samu, what do you have? But that's the thing. If they're able to get 150 million for Isak, now you're talking new levels because now you're talking, okay, we've gotten a goalkeeper, which we're going to get anyway without with just Champions League money. We've gotten a 9, Isak has gone. We've gotten a right winger, which we're going to get anyway. But now we have more money to build up the squad now. Now they have the money because, okay, let's say prior to prior to Isaac, I think they've not really spent much. I don't think they've made a signing in a while, actually. And let's say their budget is like what, 150 million. You get Jorgensen, you get Scalvini, you get Elanga with the 150 million. But now you have an extra 150 million in the bank from the sale of Isaac. And now it's like, okay, we have Isaac. Let's sign a talented young player to back this guy up. Talented young players to back this guy up. Potential or players from not necessarily, let's even say not a talented young player. Let's say a player that has like a huge profile player, but you might not be huge profile in the Premier League. Like this guy now. He's a huge profile player, but not in the Premier League. So let's say like maybe go crazy. An Ederson from Atalanta to back up Tonali and beefing up the squad. Because now you have the money to do it. And that takes Newcastle to a whole new level entirely. Like now you start thinking about the prospects of what they could really do, because Newcastle are really being held back by people not wanting to come to them. But I feel like as the window settles and the top teams have gotten all the players that they need, the best of the rest will go to Newcastle. I think so. Except they're crazy. You're coming to the Premier League, you're playing in Champions League, you're playing for Newcastle. That are going to be a huge force to be reckoned with in a few years. So yeah, like looking at teams like this, genuinely, I am worried about the prospects of Tottenham Hotspur. But yeah, I'm about rounding up now because I'm very exhausted. Do you guys have anything you want to ask me? Please ask in the chat before I round up. If you haven't liked, please like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Smash that like, please. Smash that like and subscribe, please, and thank you. But yeah, let's do Spurs before we go. If you guys have anything you want to ask me, ask in the chat though. Ask in the chat. So yeah, ask in the chat. Let's do Spurs. Let me see. No, yeah. At stage. Yeah. Let's do Spurs. Let's do Spurs. Vicario. God, like just looking like Vicario being a keeper guy. When we're talking about keepers like Ederson, like Raya, like Allison and all the likes, Mama Dash really being somebody's backup keeper and all this, it just makes you depressed. Like I'm not saying that Vicario is not a good keeper, but compared to like the things that you see other people with, it's just underwhelming, honestly. This guy, as good as he is on his day, is not consistent in my opinion. I have a problem with Romero too. It's one of those players that I have a problem with, but I won't say too much. But yeah, we will be starting the season with this guy. God was so cool. Was so cool. Good lord. But I think we'll finish in the top 8. I think so. I think we will. And that would be a good season. Considering that we finished what last season? 17th. That's incredibly impressive. Especially with the front line that we have. Believe me, it's going to be incredibly interesting finishing with or in, because this is what Thomas has been doing in preseason, so I'm just going to put Papesa at 10. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but it's what Thomas has been doing. Then a left wing, it looks like maybe Odobe. Then we have Solanke. And we would have Kudus. That's the thing. Like I feel like this side might do well against majority of the teams. I genuinely think like I think Arsenal finish above us, guaranteed. Liverpool finish above us, guaranteed. Manchester City finish above us, guaranteed. Chelsea finish above us, guaranteed. I think this season won't give me a week. United finish above us, guaranteed. Or in the Champions League, or in the FA Cup, or in the Carabao Cup, or in the Premier League. United definitely finish above Spurs. I don't know. Do you guys think I'm crazy for saying that? Like, let me know in the chat, please. Do you think I'm crazy for saying that? Let me know if you agree with me or you disagree with me, please. United finish above Spurs. I think which other team is there? Let me check. West Ham are not in Europe, but I don't think that they finish above Spurs. Newcastle. I think Newcastle finish above Spurs. Newcastle, like, you know that season where everybody was saying, oh, Newcastle was bad, Newcastle had injuries. This is where they finished, even when they had injuries. With all their injuries being in the Champions League, they still finished 7th. So I think it's safe to say that Newcastle finished above Spurs. They still finished 7th that season. Us, when we had injuries, see where we finished. Newcastle finished above Spurs. So that's, we said before, Manchester United and Newcastle. So that's 6th. So we have West Ham, who can realistically finish above Spurs. I think West Ham, no. So I think Spurs finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7th. Reasonably. 7th. I think Spurs finish 7th. And that would be a very Villa. Oh my god. I forgot about Villa. Villa finished above Spurs. So we finished 8th. And I'm a Spurs fan. I think we finished 8th. I genuinely think we finished 8th. And I'm a Spurs fan. So yeah. Like with what we have right now, this right here, we finished 8th. 8th in the league. That's what I think, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it's really tough right now. But let's see. But for the Chelseas, the Liverpools, the Cities, and the Arsenals, I'm incredibly excited to see how those 4 do next year. Honestly, I'm incredibly interested and excited to see how those 4 do next year. And I believe that, in my opinion, is really going to be an extremely exciting season next year. Honestly, I think so. It's going to be a really exciting season next year. And while as a sports fan, it might not be the best, I think sometimes you have to watch football as a football fan rather than a sports fan to protect your mental health. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting next year, and I'm excited to see how things go. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I'll see you tomorrow again, 10 p.m. every day from now on, by God's grace. And I hope more and more people speak. Thank you, Shanta, for leaving comments. Thank you, Lucky, for leaving in comments. Thank you, BM, for leaving in comments. And it's nice to speak to you guys. Maybe tomorrow I would leave the link in the chat. So hopefully you guys can hop on and speak to me like directly, so we can like go on tangents. We can go on tangents. I think that would be really nice, because I don't know how football news might be tomorrow, but there might not be anything to speak about, and I don't want to go over the same things again. So maybe it would be nice to have somebody on. So yeah, if you're new here, please leave a like, please subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a like. Yes, you leave a like. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm really grateful to everybody. Thank you very much, Shanta. Thank you, Lucky. And Shanta, good luck in work, by the way. Thank you, BM. Thank you so much. We had some points that we disagreed on, but I think that it's interesting to have somebody with a different opinion and somebody who sort of challenges me to think of things differently. I think is really exciting, and I like that. I don't want everybody to just agree with what I say. No. Challenge me and let's debate. Let's debate. That's what football is about, debating. So yeah. Please leave a like. Once again, please subscribe and turn on post notifications. Take care, guys, and I will see you guys next time on Not London Narratives. Have a lovely evening, because it's like 11:24 p.m. here in Nigeria. So yeah, have a lovely evening and take care, guys. Bye-bye.